Imagine standing in front of a room. Your heart races. Your mouth feels dry.
Know what you want to say, but your mind suddenly goes blank. This fear is so powerful that many people rank it higher than the fear of death.
But why does the human brain react this way to something as simple as speaking?
Today we'll explore the psychology, brain science, and human behavior behind public speaking fear, and why your mind turns a stage into a survival threat. By the end of this video, you'll understand what's really happening inside your brain and why this fear is far more human than you think.
Oh, what is stage fright? The universal human fear.
Imagine this. You are about to speak in front of a crowd. The room is quiet. Every eye is on you. You can feel your heart pounding. Your palms are sweaty. Your mouth is dry. You know what you want to say, but suddenly, all the carefully prepared words vanish from your mind. Every second stretches longer than it should, and a wave of panic rises inside you. This is stage fright, or the fear of public speaking. For many, it's a fleeting discomfort. For some, it can feel like an insurmountable obstacle. But no matter how severe, there is one universal truth. Almost everyone experiences it at some point in their life. The universal experience. Stage fright is incredibly common. Surveys show that up to 75% of people experience public speaking anxiety, making it one of the most prevalent fears worldwide. In fact, some studies suggest that fear of public speaking ranks higher than fear of death for many individuals. Why does the thought of speaking in front of people provoke more fear than the idea of physical harm? To understand that, we must look at the human mind and our evolutionary past. Even seasoned performers, politicians, and CEOs experience it. Feeling nervous is not a flaw, it's an aspect of being human. The spectrum of stage fright. Not all fear of public speaking is the same. It exists on a spectrum: mild nervousness, butterflies in the stomach, slight tension, faster heartbeat, often boosts focus and energy, moderate anxiety, sweaty palms, shaky voice, occasional memory lapses. Can be uncomfortable but manageable. Severe stage fright, full-blown panic, nausea, mind blanks, inability to speak. Can disrupt personal and professional life. Psychologists emphasize that even severe anxiety is not abnormal, but rather a natural reaction of the brain and body to perceived social threat. Real-life stories. Famous figures who felt stage fright. Stage fright doesn't discriminate. Even the most confident appear to have it. Warren Buffett, one of the world's most influential investors, admitted that he feared public speaking for years. He took formal training to overcome it, but even then, the anxiety never fully disappeared. Maya Rudolph, a famous comedian, shared that she would get physically sick before performing live, despite decades of experience. Abraham Lincoln, renowned for his leadership, reportedly felt nervous before public addresses, questioning whether people would judge him harshly. These stories show that stage fright is not a sign of weakness. It is part of the human condition, woven into our brain and our social instincts. Why stage fright feels so real? Stage fright is terrifying because the brain interprets public scrutiny as a potential threat to survival. Think about early humans. Being ostracized from the group could mean danger or death. Social acceptance was critical. Today, the brain still reacts as if negative judgment could threaten survival. Eyes on us feel threatening. When an audience watches, the brain perceives a potential social threat. Silence can feel like judgment. When people don't respond, the brain interprets this as evaluation or risk. Even though there is no literal danger today, the brain's wiring has not changed much from our evolutionary past, making stage fright feel real and unavoidable. The body's reaction to stage fright. Stage fright is not just mental, it is also deeply physical. When you feel anxious before speaking, your autonomic nervous system activates. Heart rate increases, blood flows to muscles, preparing for fight or flight. Sweaty palms and dry mouth. Your body diverts resources from digestion and salivation to muscles, shaky hands and voice. Fine motor control is reduced under adrenaline. Mind blanks. Cognitive functions like memory temporarily reduce efficiency under stress. Your body is responding to a threat that isn't physically present, but your brain thinks it is. Psychological perspective. Psychologists have studied stage fright extensively and describe it as a combination of cognitive fear, worrying about judgment, mistakes, or embarrassment. Physiological arousal, the body's automatic stress response. Behavioral reaction, avoidance or freezing in front of an audience. Understanding these three components is essential because it shifts the focus from self-blame to self-awareness. The spotlight effect. One psychological phenomenon that worsens stage fright is the spotlight effect, the tendency to overestimate how much people notice our mistakes. Research shows people think minor errors are more visible than they are. The audience is often less critical than our minds imagine, focusing more on their own experiences than on scrutinizing every word we say. Most of the panic you feel is amplified in your own mind. The audience sees a fraction of what you think they see. Cultural pressure and performance anxiety. Modern culture intensifies stage fright. Emphasis on performance and success, perfectionism, and fear of judgment. Social media comparisons that highlight others' confidence. Even if a person is naturally skilled, cultural expectations can increase pressure and self-consciousness, making the fear stronger. Brain science. How fear hijacks speech. Stage fright is deeply neurological. Amygdala triggers the fear response. Prefrontal cortex controls rational thinking, temporarily suppressed under stress. Hippocampus. Memory retrieval can be blocked during anxiety, explaining why prepared lines vanish. Essentially, your brain prioritizes survival over logic, making the stage feel like a threat even if there is none. Reassurance. Fear is human. It's important to normalize stage fright. Everyone experiences it, from students to world leaders. It is not weakness. It is an evolutionary response to social risk. Awareness reduces fear. Understanding how the brain reacts is the first step toward regaining control. Stage fright is not your enemy. It is a mirror reflecting how deeply social humans are wired for connection, judgment, and survival. So the next time you feel your heart racing before speaking, remember, this is normal. You are not alone. 3 out of 4 people feel exactly what you are feeling right now. Even the people you admire, leaders, performers, thinkers, have shared this experience. Stage fright is not a barrier. It is a window into the human mind. By understanding it, you begin to reclaim your voice, not by eliminating fear, but by seeing it for what it truly is, a deeply human reaction shaped by evolution, psychology, and biology.
Welcome to the brain on stage. In the first seconds, a sensory input arrives. It travels along neural pathways, triggering a cascade of electrical signals. This is the brain in action.
The moment you step on stage, something remarkable happens inside your brain. Almost instantly, a series of reactions begins faster than you can consciously process. Your body prepares for action, even though the danger is only imagined. To understand stage fright, we need to look at the first few seconds in detail. This is when your brain decides, threat or no threat. The first reaction, amygdala hijack. The amygdala is the brain's alarm system. It detects threats and triggers the fight or flight response. On stage, the amygdala treats the audience as the potential threat. Your heart races, breathing quickens, muscles tense. This happens almost instantly. Often, your conscious mind has no chance to intervene. Even if you logically know the audience is friendly, the amygdala responds first. That's why beginners and even experienced speakers sometimes freeze or panic. The prefrontal cortex and logic delay. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for rational thinking, planning, and speech control. Under stress, its activity is temporarily reduced. You may struggle to find words, even if you know them perfectly. Memory retrieval slows down. Lines you rehearse disappear. It's not forgetfulness, it's your brain prioritizing survival over performance. The hippocampus and memory gaps. The hippocampus manages short-term memory and spatial awareness. Stress hormones, like adrenaline and cortisol, impair hippocampus function. You may forget key points, stumble over sentences, or lose your place. Even seasoned speakers report this under high pressure. Your brain is trying to keep you safe, but your performance temporarily suffers as a side effect. Adrenaline flood. The body reacts the moment fear hits. Heart rate spikes to pump blood to muscles. Breathing becomes shallow to prepare for rapid action. Muscles tense, causing shaky hands or a trembling voice. Sweat increases to cool the body. These are survival mechanisms. Your body acts as if you were running from danger even if the only threat is a room full of people. Milliseconds matter. Research shows that the brain reacts in less than half a second. I scan the room. The brain instantly interprets faces and expressions. Threat detection occurs in the amygdala before conscious awareness. Autonomic nervous system triggers physical symptoms. By the time you speak your first word, your brain has already processed dozens of survival signals. Why beginners freeze? For many, the first few seconds on stage are the hardest. The amygdala triggers alarm faster than rational thought can catch up. Thoughts of judgment or making mistakes amplify the stress. The combination of physical arousal and cognitive overload can cause freezing. This is why even prepared speakers can stumble at the start. Experienced speakers aren't immune. Practice can help, but it doesn't eliminate the initial spike. Experienced speakers learn to ride the adrenaline wave. They shift focus from fear to message delivery. Awareness of their body's response reduces panic over time. Stage fright doesn't disappear. With experience, it becomes manageable. The role of audience perception. The brain is wired to anticipate social evaluation. Eye contact triggers amygdala activation. Silence or blank expressions can feel like judgment. The brain interprets this as a social threat, amplifying the stress response. Your audience isn't dangerous, and let your brain can tell the difference in the first seconds. The takeaway: stage fright begins before you even speak. Brain reacts first, body follows. Conscious mind reacts last. The first seconds are crucial, but understanding the process can reduce fear. Awareness allows speakers to reframe the response. Even in real time, stage fright is a deeply human reaction. It's your brain doing its job, not a reflection of your ability or worth. The next time you step on stage and feel your heart race, remember this: your brain is wired to protect you. It's reacting faster than you can think. Understanding this helps you step back, breathe, and reclaim control. In the next chapter, we explore the evolutionary roots of this fear, why humans have been hardwired to dread being watched for thousands of years.
Evolutionary roots: why humans fear being watched.
Have you ever wondered why standing in front of a crowd can feel terrifying, even when there is no real danger? The answer lies deep in our evolutionary past. Fear of being watched is not a modern problem, it is a part of who we are. To understand stage fright, we must go back thousands of years, to a time when social acceptance meant survival. Our brains are still wired for that world. Humans as social creatures. Humans are inherently social beings. Early humans lived in small, tight-knit groups, relying on each other for food, shelter, and protection. Belonging to the group was essential. Exclusion could mean isolation, hunger, or death. Our survival depended not on individual strength alone, but on being accepted by others. Even today, your brain interprets social evaluation as high stakes, as if your survival depends on it. Being watched triggered the brain to evaluate: am I safe? Am I respected? Am I accepted? The evolutionary advantage of social fear. Fear has a purpose. Early humans who were cautious in social situations were more likely to survive. Being aware of potential judgment helped avoid conflict, punishment, or ostracism. Mistakes in front of others could lead to loss of resources, mates, or protection. Stage fright is simply your brain's survival mechanism reacting to a perceived social threat. Even small social errors could have serious consequences for survival. This is why fear of judgment is so deeply embedded in the human brain. The role of the amygdala, the brain's fear center, is highly sensitive to social cues. It scans the environment constantly for threats. Eyes watching you, alarm triggers. Silence, frowns, or whispers, alarm triggers. Your body reacts before your conscious mind can process the situation. On stage, your brain sees dozens of faces, evaluates their expressions, and decides danger or safety. Even today, when the threat is only social, the amygdala treats it as life-threatening. The spotlight effect. Humans tend to overestimate how much others notice them. This is called the spotlight effect. We think every minor mistake is magnified. In reality, audiences are often focused on themselves, not on us. Our brain interprets potential judgment as critical danger, even when it's not. Your fear is amplified internally. Most of the audience is neutral or even supportive. Social hierarchies and fear evolution shaped our response to status. Tribes had leaders, respected hunters, and elders. Mistakes or failure in front of others could lower status and reduce access to resources. Fear of speaking publicly have evolved to avoid risks to social standing. Your brain still reacts to the potential of negative evaluation, even when modern audiences cannot harm you. Storytelling. The tribal fire. Imagine a small tribe gathered around a fire. A young hunter reports the day's hunt. Mistakes could cost trust or access to food. Every glance, whisper, or frown carries weight. Thousands of years later, our brains respond to modern audiences in the same way. Stage fright is the echo of ancient social survival instincts. Modern parallels. The audience today is rarely life-threatening, but the brain reacts as if it is. Speaking in classrooms, boardrooms, or online triggers the same fear circuits. Adrenaline spikes, heart rate increases, palms sweat. Physical symptoms mirror those that kept our ancestors safe. Your brain hasn't caught up to the modern world. Stage fright is an ancient response in a modern setting. Social anxiety and evolutionary sensitivity. Some people are more sensitive than others. Research shows heightened social anxiety may reflect greater sensitivity to social cues. In ancient times, this would help avoid social mistakes and conflict. In today's world, this same sensitivity can intensify stage fright unnecessarily. Your brain is simply doing its job too well. Mirror neurons and social feedback. Mirror neurons in the brain help us empathize and read social cues. They fire when we observe others' expressions. On stage, they make you acutely aware of approval or disapproval. This heightens nervousness and fear of judgment. Your brain literally feels the reactions of your audience even before you speak. Cultural amplification of stage fright. Evolution gave us the wiring. Modern culture amplifies it. Performance pressure and social comparisons are everywhere. Social media broadcasts our successes and failures publicly. Perfectionism increases fear of being judged. Your brain interprets every social evaluation as urgent even when it's just likes, comments, or polite attention. Fear as an adaptive mechanism. Stage fright isn't a flaw, it's adaptive. It kept early humans cautious, alert, and socially aware. It reduced risky behavior that could lead to exclusion or harm. Today, it manifests as anxiety, but its purpose is the same, to protect you socially. Fear is proof that your brain is alert, intelligent, and human. Research evidence studies show. Neuroscience. Amygdala activation spikes when being observed. Psychology. People overestimate how much others notice their mistakes. Anthropology. Social fear has been critical to human survival for tens of thousands of years. The science confirms what our instincts have always known. Being watched matters deeply to humans. Key takeaways. Stage fright is a deeply human, evolutionary response. Fear of being watched is normal, not a flaw. Modern audiences trigger the same ancient circuits that kept our ancestors alive. Understanding this reduces shame and self-judgment. Stage fright is not your enemy. It is a window into the workings of human behavior and survival instincts. Next time your heart races on stage, remember this. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Thousands of years of evolution have wired you to feel every gaze, every judgment, every potential misstep. Stage fright is the echo of survival instincts, still alive in modern life. By understanding this, you start to reclaim control over fear not by fighting it, but by seeing it as deeply human.
The body's fear response, fight, flight, or freeze.
When fear strikes, the body reacts long before the mind fully understands what's happening. Stage fright is no exception. As soon as you step on stage, your nervous system ignites a chain reaction that can feel overwhelming, even uncontrollable. To understand public speaking fear, we need to explore the body's automatic response: fight, flight, or freeze, the autonomic nervous system in action. The body's response to fear is managed by the autonomic nervous system, which operates automatically. It controls heart rate, breathing, digestion, and muscle tension. When the brain detects threat, or imagine the sympathetic branch activates. This triggers adrenaline release, preparing the body to act. Even if you know there's no danger, your body acts as if there is. Fight or flight. The classic response, the fight or flight response, is the body's ancient survival mechanism. Fight. Prepare to confront the threat. Muscles tighten. Strength increases. Flight. Prepare to escape. Heart rate and breathing accelerate for speed. On stage, these responses manifest in surprising ways. Shaky hands from muscle tension, rapid heartbeat, which you can feel pounding in your chest. Dry mouth as saliva production decreases, sweaty palms as cooling mechanisms activate. Your body is preparing to survive, though the only danger is social judgment. Freeze. The third option, less obvious, but equally common, is freezing. The body plays dead in extreme stress, a survival tactic from ancient times. Heart rate may spike initially, then slow. Muscles stiffen. Speech may halt. This is why some people go completely blank in front of an audience. Freeze is the body's way of avoiding perceived social harm, a silent protective mechanism. Adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormones to key hormones, drive the physical symptoms of stage fright. Adrenaline increases heart rate and blood flow to muscles, sharpens senses, and alertness, causes trembling, sweating, and shaky voice. Cortisol suppresses digestion and immune responses, increases alertness, but impairs short-term memory, can make words disappear. Even when fully rehearsed, these chemicals are helpful in survival situations, but on stage, they create the very sensations we fear. Physical symptoms explained when stage fright hits. Your body may experience racing heart, blood pumps faster to prepare for action, shallow breathing, muscles need more oxygen, sweaty palms and forehead, cooling mechanism triggered by stress, trembling hands or voice, muscle tension plus adrenaline, dry mouth, saliva reduced to prioritize muscles, digestive slow down, blood diverted from the gut, muscle stiffness, prepares body to move quickly. Every symptom is a normal, biological reaction to perceived danger. Psychology behind physical reactions amplify cognitive anxiety. Shaky hands make you more self-conscious. Dry mouth or stumbling words trigger worrying, which feeds the stress loop. This mind-body feedback loop is why stage fright feels so overwhelming. It's not that you're failing. Your body is just doing what it was designed to do. Storytelling. A beginner speaker's experience. Imagine a young teacher giving their first lecture. As they approach the podium, the heart races. Hands shake while flipping notes. Voice trembles on the first sentence. They feel a surge of panic and consider leaving. Every reaction, racing heart, sweating, shaking, is the body's way of preparing to survive. Understanding this can help reduce shame and self-blame. Individual differences in response. Not everyone reacts the same way. Some experience more fight, speaking quickly or aggressively. Others show flight, avoiding eye contact or rushing through content. Many experience freeze, pausing, forgetting lines, or becoming rigid. Genetics. past experiences, and personality all influence how the body reacts. Stage fright is as unique as the individual experiencing it. The role of awareness. Awareness of these physical responses can reduce fear. Recognizing trembling hands or a rapid heartbeat as normal survival responses diminishes panic. Slow, controlled breathing can signal safety to the brain. Mindful attention helps shift focus from fear to message delivery. Your body is not the enemy. It is giving you information signals you can use to your advantage. Research insights. Studies in psychophysiology reveal heart rate variability predicts intensity of stage fright. Cortisol spikes correlate with memory lapses during public speaking. Muscle tension is linked to self-conscious thoughts. Science confirms that stage fright is a natural, measurable response, one shared by nearly everyone. Cultural amplification. Modern culture can intensify these physical reactions. Performance expectations and social comparison increase stress hormone release. Social media amplifies self-consciousness. Perfectionism can exaggerate fight, flight, or freeze reactions. Your brain and body react as they were designed, but modern life makes the signals stronger than necessary. Key takeaway: stage fright is a full-body experience triggered by the autonomic nervous system. Fight, flight, or freeze are normal survival responses, misapplied to social situations. Physical symptoms are not signs of weakness, but ancient mechanisms protecting you. Awareness and understanding reduce shame and increase control over the body's reactions. Stage fright is your body speaking a language of survival. Listening to it calmly is the first step to mastering your fear. Next time your hands shake, your heart races, or your voice trembles, remember this: your body is simply doing its job. It is preparing you to survive a situation that, in reality, cannot harm you. By understanding these responses, you begin to reclaim control over both mind and body. In the next chapter, we lines explore the fear of judgment itself, the spotlight effect, and why our minds make social scrutiny feel so threatening.
Fear of judgment. The spotlight effect.
One of the most powerful triggers of stage fright is not the fear of failure. It is the fear of judgment. Humans are social beings. We have spent thousands of years living in groups where approval or disapproval meant survival, and our brain still treats social scrutiny as a threat. This is where the spotlight effect comes in. What is the spotlight effect? The spotlight effect is a psychological phenomenon. People overestimate how much others notice their mistakes or flaws. We imagine the audience is scrutinizing every gesture, every word, every pause. In reality, most observers are focused on themselves, not on us. This means that your fear is amplified by your mind, not by your audience. Why the brain overestimates attention. The brain is wired for social evaluation. Early humans relied on group approval for safety and resources. Mistakes could lead to ostracism, hunger, or conflict. This created a neural tendency to inflate the attention others pay to us. The spotlight effect is an evolutionary leftover, a survival tool misfiring in modern times. Storytelling, classroom anxiety. Imagine a student giving a presentation. They stumble on the first sentence. They feel every eye is watching, every head turning. Panic rises. They imagine everyone judging harshly. Reality check. Most classmates barely notice. Some are distracted, thinking about their own presentations. Yet the brain interprets this situation as life or death. Social scrutiny. Cognitive bias behind the spotlight effect. The effect is amplified by self-focused attention. You monitor your own performance obsessively. Every twitch, fumble, or pause seems huge. Your mind creates a distorted view of reality, imagining exaggerated judgment. Your thoughts are the loudest critics in the room. Neuroscience of social fear. Brain imaging shows amygdala activates during perceived social evaluation. Anterior cingulate cortex monitors for social errors and embarrassment. Prefrontal cortex tries to control responses, but is often overwhelmed by stress hormones. Your brain is scanning the audience constantly, looking for threats even when there are none. Real-life examples. Even famous people experience it. Oprah Winfrey has admitted to feeling stage fright, imagining judgment from the crowd. Emma Watson described anxiety before speeches at the UN, worrying about public perception. Comedians often say the audience seems larger than it is, making every pause feel critical. The spotlight effect doesn't discriminate. It affects beginners and experts alike. Modern amplifiers of judgment, fear, technology, and culture intensify the spotlight effect. Social media increases visibility and perceived scrutiny. Recording devices and live streams make small mistakes feel permanent. Comparisons to confident public figures heighten self-consciousness. Your brain reacts to all this as if social danger is immediate and real. Psychological impact on stage fright. The spotlight effect fuels self-consciousness. Feeling eyes are on you constantly. Negative evaluation bias. Imagining criticism even when it doesn't exist. Performance anxiety. Mind and body respond with fight, flight, or freeze. Stage fright is not just physical or neurological, it is cognitive. Your thoughts amplify your body's reactions. Strategies for awareness. Understanding the spotlight effect can reduce fear. Perspective shift. Remind yourself the audience is mostly neutral. Focus outward. Think about the message, not yourself. Practice exposure. Gradually speaking in front of people trains the brain to see judgment as safe. Knowledge is power. Awareness of cognitive distortion weakens its effect. Storytelling. Public speaker example. A young entrepreneur presents to investors. They imagine every gesture being analyzed, every word judged. Hands shake, voice wavers, heart races. Afterward, they learn the investors barely notice minor stumbles. They were impressed by content, not perfection. The brain had inflated perceived judgment, creating unnecessary fear. The spotlight effect and personal growth. Stage fright can be reframed. It signals that your brain cares about social connection. It reminds you that humans are wired to notice others. By acknowledging this, you can shift focus from fear to delivery. Fear of judgment is a human condition, but it can also be a guide for growth. Key takeaways. The spotlight effect is why we feel everyone is watching us. Our minds exaggerate audience attention to evolutionary survival wiring. Most fears of judgment are distorted perceptions. Awareness reduces cognitive amplification and helps manage stage fright. Understanding the spotlight effect is a key step in reclaiming confidence and control on stage. Next time you step on stage, remember this: the audience is not scrutinizing every detail. Most people are focused on themselves. Your mind is exaggerating attention. Recognizing this distortion gives you the power to breathe, speak, and perform without fear. In the next chapter, we'll explore practical techniques to harness body and mind, turning anxiety into calm, confident delivery.
Practical techniques, turning anxiety into confidence.
Now that we understand what stage fright is and why it happens, the next question is, what can we do about it? The good news is that stage fright can be managed. Anxiety can be transformed into confidence. And it all starts with the right techniques. In this chapter, we'll explore proven strategies to help your mind and body work together, rather than against you. 1. Controlled breathing. Calming the nervous system. Breathing is the fastest way to influence the body's stress response. Deep, slow breaths activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which counters fight or flight. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Repeat. This reduces heart rate, eases muscle tension, and signals safety to the brain. Even 30 seconds of controlled breathing can dramatically reduce anxiety. Before speaking. Storytelling example. A student steps onto the stage, heart racing. They close their eyes for a few breaths, focusing only on inhaling and exhaling. The body calms, the mind clears, and the first words come more easily. Breathing is simple, yet often overlooked. It's the foundation of stage confidence. 2. Muscle relaxation and body awareness. Stage fright often causes tension in shoulders, neck, hands, and jaw. Progressive muscle relaxation (PMR) can help. Tense a muscle group for 5 seconds, then release. Focus on sensations of relaxation. Even subtle awareness reduces physical anxiety signals. Your body will mirror your mind. Calm muscles make calm thoughts easier. Storytelling example. A corporate speaker clenches their fists, shoulders tense. They tense and release their hands before speaking. The trembling stops. Confidence grows. 3. Visualization. Rehearsing success mentally. Visualization leverages the brain's neural pathways. Close your eyes and imagine walking on stage calmly. Picture your voice strong and clear. Audience engaged and supportive. Replay the scenario until it feels real. Your brain often cannot distinguish vivid imagination from reality. Positive mental rehearsal reduces fear in actual performance. Example, an aspiring musician visualizes performing flawlessly. Each repetition strengthens neural pathways for confident action. On stage, the body and mind follow what has been rehearsed mentally. 4. Gradual exposure. Building comfort step by step. Gradual exposure reduces fear by training the brain. Start small, speak in front of a mirror. Progress to friends or family. Eventually, present to a larger audience. Stage fright diminishes when the brain learns. Being watched is safe. Example, a teacher afraid of classrooms starts practicing in empty rooms, then with one student, then a small group. Anxiety decreases with each step. Confidence grows naturally. 5. Focus on the message, not yourself. Shift attention outward. Instead of thinking, they are judging me, focus on what you want to communicate. Concentrate on your topic, your story, or your purpose. Your brain is less likely to amplify fear when attention is on the message, not self-consciousness. Example, a speaker delivering a charity talk imagines helping others with their words. Self-conscious thoughts fade. Performance improves. 6. Voice and speech technique. Stage fright often affects voice, trembling, pitch rise, or stammering. Warm up your voice before speaking. Speak slowly, pause for breath, and articulate clearly. Ground your voice in the diaphragm to reduce tension. Controlled speech helps signal calmness to the brain and audience alike. Example, a presenter notices a shaky voice. Pausing and breathing mid-sentence steadies both voice and mind. 7. Positive self-talk and reframing words shape perception. Replace "I'm going to fail" with "I am prepared and capable." Acknowledge nervousness without judgment. Use phrases like "I feel excited," not terrified, to reframe the body's signals. Your brain responds to language. Positive framing reduces anxiety and promotes confidence. Example, an actor tells themselves, "My nerves are energy I can channel into performance." The physiological response shifts from panic to alert focus. 8. Anchoring and physical tricks. Small actions can regulate the nervous system. Plant feet firmly on the ground. Hold a prop or notes with relaxed hands. Smile subtly. Smiling releases endorphins, signaling calmness. Anchoring and subtle body cues communicate safety to the brain, reducing fear. 9. Preparation and practice. The most powerful technique is thorough preparation. Know your material inside out. Rehearse multiple times, including standing, moving, and using gestures. Familiarity builds confidence. Your brain fears the unknown. Preparation turns uncertainty into control. Example, a keynote speaker rehearses for weeks. On the day of the talk, stage fright is minimal because the brain recognizes safety and mastery. 10. Mindfulness and grounding techniques. Mindfulness keeps attention in the present. Notice tension or racing thoughts without judgment. Grounding anchors the brain, reducing amplification of fear. Mindfulness teaches your brain the present moment is safe, even under scrutiny. Integrating techniques combine strategies for best results. Breathe gives relax muscles, gives visualize, gives focus on message. Regular practice rewires neural pathways, making stage fright manageable. These methods transform fear into a tool, not a barrier. Storytelling example, transformation. A nervous college student struggles with public speaking. They practice deep breathing, visualization, and small audience exposure. Weeks later, they deliver a lecture with calm, Steady presence. Anxiety remains but is harnessed as energy, not panic. Stage fright becomes fuel for confident performance. Key takeaway: stage fright is manageable with practical techniques. Breathing, muscle relaxation, visualization, and gradual exposure are essential tools. Shifting focus from self to message reduces cognitive amplification. Preparation and mindfulness empower both mind and body. Fear can be transformed into confidence. Stage fright becomes a companion, not a barrier. Next time you feel the familiar rush of nerves before speaking, remember, your body and mind are capable allies. By using these techniques, you can turn fear into energy, anxiety into focus, and stage fright into confident expression. In the next chapter, we'll explore real-life stories of people who mastered stage fright, showing that transformation is possible for everyone.
My hands were shaking, my voice cracked, but I kept going.
I felt paralyzed by the spotlight. Now I embrace it.
Stage fright feels personal. It feels isolating. But the truth is simple. Some of the most confident speakers in history once feared the stage just as much as you do. In this chapter, we explore real stories, real transformations, and real proof that stage fright can be overcome. 1. The myth of the naturally confident speaker. Many people believe confidence is natural. They think great speakers are born fearless. This is a myth. Confidence is learned. Fear is common, even among professionals. The difference is not fearlessness, but mastery. The people we admire most did not eliminate fear. They learned to move forward despite it. 2. The student who couldn't speak. A college student avoids presentations. Their hands shake, their voice breaks, their mind goes blank. They feel embarrassed. They feel weak. They feel alone. But something changes. They start practicing in private. They record their voice. They speak in front of one friend. Week by week, anxiety weakens. Exposure rewires the brain. Familiarity replaces fear. Months later, the same student presents confidently. Not perfectly, but calmly. Progress, not perfection, builds confidence. 3. The professional who feared meetings. A corporate employee excels on paper, but struggles in meetings. Heart races when called upon. Voice sounds unsure. Thoughts scatter. They fear judgment. They fear authority. Then they learn a shift. Focus on the message, not the self. Speak slower. Breathe deeper. Small changes, big results. Confidence grows when attention moves outward. Soon, they are respected, not because they are loud, but because they are clear. 4. Famous speakers who had stage fright. Even legends struggled. Actors feared auditions. Musicians feared crowds. Leaders feared speeches. Many admitted intense anxiety early on. They used rituals, breathing techniques, visualization, repetition. Fear does not disqualify you. Avoidance does. Their success came not from fearlessness, but persistence. 5. The performer who reframed fear. A singer experiences panic before every show. Sweaty palms, racing heart. Instead of fighting it, they reframe it. This is excitement. This energy helps me perform. The brain listens. Physiologically, fear and excitement feel similar. Meaning changes the experience. The fear doesn't disappear, but it transforms. Energy replaces panic. Focus replaces dread. 6. The power of repetition. One speech is terrifying. 10 speeches are uncomfortable. 50 speeches feel normal. Repetition trains the brain. The amygdala calms down. The nervous system adapts. Confidence becomes automatic. What once felt dangerous becomes familiar. This is how transformation happens. Not overnight, but over time. 7. When failure becomes a teacher. Many people fail publicly. They forget words, they stumble, and yet they survive. The audience forgets quickly, but the speaker learns deeply. Failure teaches the brain that mistakes are not threats. Each failure reduces fear. Each recovery builds strength. 8. Quiet confidence versus loud confidence. Confidence is not shouting. It is presence. Calm tone, steady posture, clear intention. Many successful speakers are introverts. Confidence is not personality. It is preparation plus trust. 9. Identity shift. I am someone who can speak. Transformation often begins with identity. Not, I'm bad at public speaking, but, I'm learning to communicate. This subtle shift matters. The brain follows identity. Who you believe you are shapes what you do. 10. The common pattern in every success story. Every transformation shares the same steps. Acceptance of fear, small exposure, repetition, reframing, consistency, no shortcuts. No magic, just process. Confidence is built, not discovered. 11. You are not behind. Many people start late. Many struggle longer. This does not matter. Your pace is not a weakness. It is your path. Every speaker you admire once stood where you stand now. Stage fright does not mean you are broken. It means you care. And caring is the foundation of meaningful communication. Every story you heard today proves one truth. Fear shrinks when faced with patience and practice. Confidence is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move forward anyway. In the next chapter, we lines explore how the audience really sees you and why they are far more forgiving than you think.
Ever feel like you're being judged? It's called the spotlight effect. In reality, people are thinking about themselves to notice. So relax, no one's judging.
When you stand on a stage, it feels like dozens of eyes are judging you. Every movement feels noticed, every pause feels loud. But psychology tells a very different story. In reality, the audience is not watching you the way you think they are. 1. The audience illusion. The human brain creates an illusion. It tells you, everyone is analyzing you. Every mistake is obvious. Judgment is constant. This illusion is powerful, but it is inaccurate. Most people in the audience are focused inward, not outward. 2. People are thinking about themselves. Psychology research shows people spend most of their time in self-referential thought. Even while listening, they reflect on personal experiences. They worry about how they look, feel, or sound. The audience is not evaluating you. They are processing themselves through your words. 3. Limited attention span. The brain cannot focus deeply for long. Attention naturally drifts. People miss small details. Minor mistakes go unnoticed. If you mispronounce a word, if you pause, if your voice shakes briefly, most people do not register it. Your mistakes are louder to you than to anyone else. 4. Empathy bias. In audiences, humans are empathetic by nature. When someone speaks, listeners often feel supportive. They remember their own fears. They root for the speaker. This is called empathetic projection. The audience wants you to succeed more than you realize. 5. The good enough standard. Audiences do not expect perfection. They expect clarity, honesty, effort. Perfection is not relatable. Humanity is. A speaker who feels real creates more connection than one who feels flawless. 6. The role of social norms. Public settings follow unspoken rules. People avoid harsh judgment. Visible criticism is socially discouraged. Silence usually means neutrality, not disapproval. When an audience is quiet, it does not mean failure. Silence often means listening. 7. Research on observer perspective. Studies show observers rate speakers more positively than speakers rate themselves. Speakers overestimate how nervous they appear. Physical symptoms are mostly invisible. Your internal experience does not match your external appearance. 8. The memory gap. Audiences forget quickly. They remember the message, not the delivery. They recall ideas, not stumbles. Small mistakes fade within minutes. What feels unforgettable to you is forgettable to others. 9. Audience as allies, not threats. Reframing. The audience changes everything. Instead of seeing them as judges, see them as participants. They came to learn. They came to listen. They came with neutral expectations. The audience is not an enemy. It is a shared space. 10. When judgment actually happens. True judgment is rare. When it does occur, it usually reflects the listener's own insecurity, not your performance. Other people's reactions often say more about them than about you. 11. The power of human connection. Eye contact, pauses, and sincerity create trust. You do not need to impress, you need to connect. Connection calms the nervous system, both yours and theirs. 12. Shifting the mental frame. Ask different questions. Not, do they like me? But, can this help them? This shift reduces anxiety. It redirects attention outward. Purpose dissolves fear. 13. A simple truth: the audience is human. Just like you, they feel awkward. They feel nervous. They understand mistakes. The moment you remember this, fear begins to lose its grip. You are not standing in front of critics. You are standing among people who think, feel, and worrying just like you. When you stop seeing the audience as judges, the stage stops feeling dangerous. In the final chapters, we will explore how long-term confidence is built and how fear of public speaking fades permanently over time.
Building long-term confidence starts with facing small fears. With each step, fear fades and confidence grows.
Confidence does not arrive suddenly. It grows quietly, day by day. Experience by experience. Stage fright fades not because fear disappears, but because your brain learns that speaking is safe. 1. Confidence is a skill, not a trait. Many people believe confidence is something you either have or don't. Psychology disagrees. Confidence is learned. Confidence is trained. Confidence is built through repetition. Your brain adapts to what you repeatedly do. 2. The brain learns through evidence. The brain changes through experience. Every time you speak and nothing bad happens, fear circuits weaken. Safety signals strengthen. This process is called neural updating. The brain stops reacting when the threat never arrives. 3. Habituation. Why fear shrinks over time. Repeated exposure reduces emotional intensity. First speech feels overwhelming. 10th speech feels manageable. 50th speech feels normal. This is habituation. The nervous system calms when it learns there is no danger. 4. Small wins rewire identity. Confidence grows from small successes. Speaking up once. Finishing a sentence calmly. Maintaining eye contact. These moments matter. Your brain collects evidence about who you are. Over time, identity shifts. I am someone who can speak. 5. The role of consistency. Confidence requires regular exposure. Long gaps allow fear to return. Short, repeated practice keeps fear low. Brief presentations, casual discussions, low-pressure speaking. Consistency keeps the brain familiar with the experience. 6. Separating performance from self-worth. Many people attach identity to performance. A mistake feels personal. A pause feels like failure. Long-term confidence requires separation. You are not your performance. You are the person delivering it. This separation reduces emotional intensity. 7. Self-talk shapes confidence. Internal dialogue matters. Harsh self-talk increases fear. Supportive self-talk reduces stress. Examples: I don't need to be perfect. It's okay to pause. I can handle this. The brain responds to tone, not logic. 8. Progress is not linear. Confidence does not grow in a straight line. Some days feel easy. Other days feel difficult. This is normal. Temporary fear does not erase long-term growth. 9. Emotional regulation becomes automatic with experience. Breathing slows naturally. Thoughts become clearer. Body tension decreases. You stop forcing calm. Calm begins to appear on its own. What once required effort becomes automatic. 10. Confidence without overconfidence. True confidence is quiet. No need to impress, no need to dominate, no need to perform. Just presence. Calm communication feels confident to others. 11. The long view. Public speaking confidence develops over months, sometimes years. This does not mean failure. It means growth. Long-term change always outlasts quick fixes. 12. When fear no longer controls you. Eventually, fear appears briefly, then fades quickly. It no longer controls behavior. Fear loses power when it no longer dictates your actions. 13. A new relationship with fear. Fear may still appear, but it no longer feels threatening. It becomes information, not a warning. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It is familiarity with it. Every confident speaker you admire reached that place slowly. Through repetition, through patience, through self-trust, fear fades when experience replaces imagination. And confidence grows when you keep showing up. In the final chapter, we'll bring everything together and explore how to speak with calm clarity, no matter the situation.
Calm on the stage means integrating everything. When we do, we can speak with clarity and achieve success.
Fear of public speaking is not a flaw, it is a signal. A signal that your brain is doing its job protecting you, even when protection is no longer needed. In this final chapter, we bring everything together, not to eliminate fear, but to understand it, work with it, and move forward calmly. 1. Understanding the full picture. Stage fright is not one thing. It is a combination of biology, psychology, experience, thought patterns. No single technique solves it, but understanding changes everything. Fear weakens when it is no longer mysterious. 2. The brain's final lesson. Safety through experience. Your brain learns in one primary way: through evidence. Every time you speak and remain safe, the amygdala becomes quieter, stress hormones reduce faster, calm returns sooner. The brain does not need reassurance. It needs proof. This is how fear fades permanently. 3. Calm is not something you force. Many people try to force calm. They fight anxiety. They resist sensations. This rarely works. True calm comes from allowance. Allow the heartbeat, allow the breath, allow the moment. What you stop fighting stops controlling you. 4. Presence over performance. Public speaking is not a performance, it is presence. When you are present, the body relaxes, the voice steadies, the mind clears. You do not need to impress. You do not need to convince. Presence is more powerful than perfection. 5. The role of meaning. Fear shrinks when meaning grows. When you focus on helping, sharing, explaining, self-consciousness decreases. Purpose redirects attention away from fear. This is why confident speakers focus on the message, not the mirror. 6. Accepting imperfection. Every speaker makes mistakes. Every talk includes pauses. Every voice changes under stress. This is normal. Imperfection does not weaken credibility. It strengthens authenticity. People trust what feels human. 7. Redefining success. Success is not a flawless speech, perfect confidence, zero anxiety. Success is showing up, speaking clearly, staying present. Success is participation, not perfection. 8. When fear appears again, fear may return. Before a big speech, in a new environment. This does not mean failure. It means the brain is encountering novelty. Fear returning does not erase progress. The difference now is control. Fear no longer decides your actions. 9. Long-term calm becomes your default. Over time, calm appears faster, anxiety fades quicker, confidence feels natural. You stop thinking about fear. You simply speak. This is not confidence. This is familiarity. 10. The quiet confidence. Most people miss. The strongest speakers are often calm. Not loud, not dramatic. They speak clearly, they pause naturally, they trust silence. Calm confidence feels safe to others. 11. Speaking as a human, not a performer. When you stop trying to be a speaker, you become a communicator. This shift matters. Communication is shared. Speaking is cooperative. Listening becomes mutual. The stage becomes a space, not a test. 12. The final refrain. Public speaking is not exposure to judgment. It is an opportunity for connection. The audience is not watching for mistakes. They are listening for meaning. When connection replaces evaluation, fear dissolves. 13. A moment of stillness. Take a breath. Slowly. Notice your body. Notice the space around you. Nothing is threatening you. Nothing is demanding perfection. This is the state your brain learns to return to. 14. The truth about fear and growth. Fear does not block growth. Avoidance does. Every time you speak despite fear, you train courage, you train calm. Growth happens quietly, through repetition. 15. Final reflection. You are never broken, you are never incapable. You are simply human, responding to perceived threat. When understanding replaces confusion, and experience replaces imagination, fear loses its grip. Public speaking does not require bravery, it requires familiarity. And familiarity is built one moment at a time. The stage is no longer a place of danger. It is a place of presence, and when you stand there calmly, speaking clearly, you are not overcoming fear. You are simply being human.
If this documentary helped you understand fear a little better, to consider subscribing for more psychology-based explorations of human behavior. You can also share your thoughts or experiences in the comments, and sharing one's perspective may help someone else feel less alone.